Hi everybody, so another recipe for you here. This is one of my favourites. I'm going to show you how to make fajitas. Doesn't take a lot of ingredients and is very simple to make and one of my favourites, like I've already said. So you're going to need the following. You're going to need 4 chicken thighs or 2 chicken fillets or a vegetarian alternative depending on your dietary preferences or requirements. My personal preference for a vegetarian alternative is mushrooms. They go really nice and they bulk up your fruit and veg quarter of the day. Or you can use corn, any piece like that. Tofu is also good. Or you can use pulses such as kidney beans, cannellini beans, chickpeas also work. You'll also need peppers, 2 of any colour. Okay, I would advise you go for different colours because it just looks nicer, and also you're going to get extra nutrients in your dish if you use different colours. And 2 onions. Go for the different colours if you can. Use a red one, use an onion. If not, just use one, both. It's up to you. But the more colours in this dish, the better it looks. And you're also going to need the spice blend. Now you've got 2 options. The first option is you make your own. Okay, so if you use half a teaspoon of chili powder, 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika, and 1 tablespoon each of cumin, garlic powder, coriander, and oregano, mix it all together into a bowl or something. You can use that a couple of times because you'll only need about a tablespoon of the mix. If you haven't got all those spices in your house, don't go and buy them unless you want to. When you want to make your own spice blend, just go out and get one of them. Okay, they're really good. So 1 packet will do for 4 people. So if you haven't got all those spices and you don't want to do all that, just buy one of them and chuck it in. Works perfectly fine. Okay. Alright, so if you're using chicken, you've got a few rules to follow, as you should be aware if you've already done this in school. You're going to need 2 boards. If you haven't got 2 boards, use one to do all your veg prep. Put all your veg in a bowl separate, then wash your board, and then prepare the chicken, and then put that in a bowl and keep that separate as well. Keep the chicken and vegetables apart until you cook them, okay? I'm looking up because I've got a red board and I've got a white board. I'm going to do the vegetable prep first because I don't want to touch this, keep it separate, keep it out of the way until I need it. So make sure you've got a bowl of soapy water so you can just wash your hands without switching the tap on as well. And then you should be reasonably safe. So we start off then with the veg, usual, the pepper. You're not going to dice it this time, you're just simply going to into slices. So what you need to do is slices like that. Make sure you use the correct grip. And once you've sliced them all, if your pepper is rather large, which mine quite is, then simply line them all up and 1 cut straight down the middle. So you've got about that size, okay? With the onion, make sure you do all the pepper as well. I'm just showing you this little bit to start you off. The onion straight through the middle as usual. Then peel it, take off the peel. Make sure you keep your surfaces clean. Keep all that peel away from everything else that you're prepping. Get into a bowl out of the way, and then you can bin it later. So as you're walking back and forth from the bin. So with the onion off there, and this time you can take the root off as well, okay? Because you're just going to simply slice it. So into strips like that, all the way across. Keep your fingers out of the way, and then once you're done, the onion will simply fall apart into strips, and that's perfect. So make sure you do all of it. So as you can see, I've finished off all my onions and all peppers, lots of colour there, lots of vegetables ready to go. So now I'm going to work on my chicken. So like I say, I've got a different board, I've got a red board. If you haven't, just make sure you clean your old one, and then you can use that one. And we keep everything separate, okay? And wash your hands before and after handling the chicken, otherwise you can risk food poisoning. So if you're using thighs or chicken fillets, it's basically the same. All you need to do is you need to chop it into small chunks about that size, about the size of a dice, okay? Not too big because then they won't cook properly and then it won't spread out and people won't get enough chicken or whatever. If you are not using this and you're using mushrooms, just slice them up into, well, however you like really. You slice them up how you feel appropriate, as they will cook fine. If you're using corn pieces, get them out, get them ready, and then you're good to go. Right, so I've got everything sorted now. All the vegetables are done. All the chicken is cut up into small pieces. So this is how you're supposed to cook them. Now, if depending on what you're going to use, it's going to change the order. If you were using chicken, you need to cook that first. You need to make sure it's safe, all fully cooked, all the bacteria has been killed, not going to cause anybody any food poisoning, and then you add the vegetables after. If you were using mushrooms, leave them till after these are cooked. These will take a bit of time. Mushrooms don't take that long. If you're using pulses or kidney beans or any type of tin stuff like that, then put them in after this. The same with corn pieces. Do the vegetables first, add the corn in later. There's no food poisoning risk for it. Okay. The tablespoon of oil in the pan. I've got the pan on a high heat, and the chicken's going to go in first. I'm going to put a little bit of chicken in, just so I can see if the pan is hot enough, because I don't want to put it all in and it to cool the pan down and the oil to not do anything really. So I'm just going to let it cook for a second. It should start turning white. It should start to sizzle fairly quickly, depending on how good your hob is. Okay. So once it starts to turn white, you can add the rest of it. You should be able to see the sizzling occur pretty much straight away. Right, so that's now sizzling. That didn't take long. Just going to add the rest of it a little bit at a time, just so the pan doesn't cool down quickly. We've got that nice sizzle now. Make sure the breadboard or whatever board you were using goes in the sink or out of the way safely. And your job now is to make sure the chicken is fully cooked. This will take about 5 minutes. You need to get some colour on there as well. So keep it turning round. Watch it. It will start to turn white. And then it will start to turn golden. You don't want it to turn golden too quickly, otherwise you might end up burning the outside while the inside is raw. So just take your time, keep it at 9 heat until it's going. Take about 5 minutes. It's been about 2 minutes now, and as you can see the chicken is starting to go white. It's pulling all over, and there's little tinges of golden appear. So just keep it going. If you've got chicken thighs, they'll be fine, they can take the heat. Chicken throats can go a little bit dry, so be a bit more careful with them. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes and it's starting to go golden, so I'm quite happy with that now. You don't need to check that it's cooked, because it's still going to cook for a bit longer when you add the onions and the peppers, so you don't need to worry about that at all. So just simply get all of it in basically. So I'll start with the onions, both colours, you've got them. Give them a stir in, break up the onions so it's in nice small pieces. You can cook and mix it up with the chicken, and once that's combined, just add the peppers, and that will take another 5 minutes of stir frying until they're all nice and soft. Then you can add your spice mix. My vegetables are now reasonably soft. I like the pepper to be a little bit crunchy, so I'm going to stop it there. And all you do once it gets to this stage, you just simply add your spice blend, whether you're using the packet mix or you've created your own with the recipe provided earlier. So just mix it in. Keep the heat up. And we'll only do this for about 30 seconds, because you do not want to do all this work and then burn the spices at the end, because it just will taste foul. So just be careful. Make sure it's all nicely coated. Make sure the spices have got a little bit of heat on them so they can get all the flavour. You'll be able to smell it as well. And then simply, after about 30 seconds, take it off the heat. And it's done, ready to serve. Once you're ready to serve, you just get it into the middle of the table and then add whatever you want with it, really. It's entirely up to you. Make sure you've got enough for everybody though. So I've got some wraps, we've got some creme fraiche or sour cream or natural yogurt will work fine. Got some chopped tomato to go in there, or you can make the salsa from a previous video. Some fresh green lettuce, any type is good. And not forgetting the most important one, cheese. And if you've got any spare, coriander, one of my favourite herbs, goes really nicely on that. So there's your final serving plate of fajitas. Enjoy.